So we are back. It's been almost a year, but we are finally able to discuss a new episode of Sailor Moon Crystal. Act 27, Part 1 is amazing. I freaking loved it. From the pacing to the animation to the voice acting, just to the writing. It was stunning, amazing, 5 out of 5 stars. A beautiful episode from beginning to end, and I'm so happy to be discussing it with you guys again, because some of us haven't talked in quite a long time, so I'm really looking forward to chatting with some of you in the comments below about this episode. So let's really get right into the nitty-gritty of this episode. The big thing is the animation. The Infinity Arc, the S season, the 3rd season of Sailor Moon is the biggest one, the fan favorite, and Toei Animation has done everything they could to make the animation of this episode, hopefully of this entire series, look stunning. I really hope this is not a one-off and that the animation for the other episodes starts to flop, because this episode's animation has set the bar very high, to the point that I felt I was watching, a 1990s Disney's Renaissance movie. This animation is stellar. Like, it's on the level of Disney, because Toei doesn't always have the best animation. Crystal seasons 1 and 2 are clear examples of that. And here it's like Disney movie level magic. It was beautiful. And that's another thing, is not only did I feel like I was watching movie level animation, I felt like I was watching a movie, because I felt the pacing of this episode was spectacular. Everything moved so beautifully from beginning to end. From the beginning, where we get to see Hotaru, and Hotaru wasn't even named here. And I really like the fact that, because the episode is now divided into 2 parts, instead of, letting all the characters kind of come out at once and rushing it, which would make it very, not unlikable, but it would make it a bit more quirky, I guess. Just, it wouldn't have the power that this one did. So by making Hotaru nameless for the moment, making Kaori Knight even nameless, that was very, very smart writing-wise, because now for next week, we have questions for what's going to be going on. Like, we still want to see more and more. And granted, I know what's going to happen, but I'm so happy to see it revealed in this medium, because it was stunning. So at the beginning of the episode, we hear Pharaoh Knighty's voice, we see, Kaori Knight, the woman in red, and then we see Hotaru, or the girl with the purple eyes and the black hair, and she has a vision of the Moon Kingdom. And also she has a vision of Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, Sailor Pluto in shadow, and of the talismans. But I love just the visuals of like inside Hotaru's mind when she's having said vision. I thought it was stunning. So that was really, really creative, that they decided to not let us in on who the new villains were right away. But then throughout the episode, attacks are happening. People are reverting back to some type of primal form, to being a monster. I talked about this in my trailer review, where I felt the newscaster had no emotion, and again, had no emotion. I thought that was hysterical, because people are turning into monsters, and he was just like, monsters. So I thought that was kind of funny. So I thought the animation of the monsters, the Night Yomas, the diamonds was fantastic. And I really love how right after, we get to meet our villains, more or less, we get right into Sailor Moon, and or Usagi, and she introduces everyone. And for those of us who haven't seen the anime in a while, it's kind of a good thing to get like that nice recap. At first, I was kind of bored with it. I thought, like, why? I know who everyone is. But then I'm like, you know what? This makes sense. It introduces us to these characters once again, to make us feel connected. And oh my god, did I feel connected to these characters. I felt like I was watching the 90s anime again, because I felt that the personalities of Rei, Minako, Makoto, and Amy all were transmigrated back to this episode. I loved how Rei just slightly teased Usagi, and I loved how Minako and Makoto fangirled over Haruka. That was classic 90s to me. I believe part of this did happen in the manga, but I just felt that the personalities of the girls from the 90s are back in this season, and I loved it, because this is what I wanted. I wanted these girls to be relatable, likable, not flat, stagnant characters like they were in Crystal, besides Sailor Moon and Chibiusa. But here I felt very connected to all of these characters. So just what's going on with the inners was really great. And then we also get to see Haruka and Michiru, and they weren't actually even introduced to the inners or to Tuxedo Mask or anyone. They were talked about, but they haven't met our main characters yet. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing everyone meet Haruka and Michiru. I very much want to call them Amara and Michelle, just because I feel like I'm butchering Haruka and Michiru, and Amara and Michelle is just so much easier for me to say. But I don't want to say Uranus and Neptune, because technically they weren't in those forms yet. But I love how rich they are, how, you know, they own helicopters, how it's showing Haruka and Michiru's hobbies, where Haruka loves to drive cars, and, you know, she's connected to the wind, and Michiru loves to swim, and she's connected to the ocean. I very much like the scene when, you know, they're in the arcade and they're driving, and we get to see Naru for a minute. That was really cute, and we get to see Motoki. That was also very nice. And I very much liked, you know, they're driving. They have like this new virtual reality type helmet, or helmet in race car game, and Haruka tells Usagi what to do. And they have a connection. Somehow Usagi feels connected to Haruka. I like that. And then when Michiru bumped into Mamoru, and, you know, they both touch the mirror, and Michiru says, "Were you a prince in another life?" Which is very accurate because he was. And he's like, "How do you know this?" And I very, very much enjoyed that. So that was pretty much the first 12 minutes. And it took me 5 minutes to talk about it. It was great. It was very great. Visually stunning. Characters I felt connected to. Then we get into the battles. And the animation of the battle was excellent. The way that Wing Chang Sword and Coconut Cyclone looked was beautiful. I've never seen those attacks, obviously, because they weren't done in the original anime, and I love the way they look. Coconut Cyclone and Wing Chang Sword look so powerful. What I want to note really quick is, besides Moon Cosmic Power, which I really love the colors, they were beautiful. I love the fact they're all in 2D. I love that at the same time we're hearing original effects from this anime and old effects from the other anime, which was great. And their poses were really cool too. Moon Cosmic Power blew me away. I love, you know, how it kind of just pretty much goes all around Sailor Moon. I thought it was really great. You know, we could see her legs, her chest, her arms. It was fantastic. What I want to quickly note is that Planet Power was almost exactly like Star Power from the RS and even Super S anime, where they raise their hand up, they say planet, or, you know, whichever planet, in Star Power, and their nails, you know, they each get a nail polish on them. So I thought that was interesting, how it's kind of a homage to that. And then very much the transformations are homages to how they were done originally. And I liked it, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping for new ones. That's my only slight critique. I was hoping for, you know, different type of ones that I did make, but then had to take down because Toei Animation gave me a copyright strike. Ugh. So then the battle happened, and, you know, Amy and or Mars and Mercury didn't attack, but they did all their introductions. The introduction scenes were fantastic. And then following that, like I said, Jupiter and Venus attacked. They defeated the monster, and Amy did at least do her glasses, where she could figure out that the monster had like absorbed the girl to some degree. And also the scene when the girl gets absorbed or gets attacked was really cool too, where like that diamond egg comes from the sky. And also, to quickly note, I love seeing Pharaoh 90's eyes and hearing his voice, and, you know, that whole scene where he was talking about that sacred ground. That was beautiful and dark and ominous, like kind of like a horror movie. I love that too. But to jump back to the present, you know, they defeat the monster, and they feel like they're being watched. And they know that something is going to be coming, and then the episode ends and we have the trailer. I'm going to do a trailer review for next week too. I'm going to try to do trailer reviews and episode reviews as often as I can. So I very much love this episode. 5 out of 5 stars. Also, one more thing. Granted, Chibiusa didn't do much in this episode, so I don't have much to say about Chibiusa, but I do want to say this. I loved how Usagi mentioned that her happiness isn't able to last until she finishes her mission as a sailor soldier. I thought that was very mature, very much true, and very interesting for her to say, because it didn't feel like something I would expect her to say, but I love the fact that she said it. So I love this episode. I love that we get to see Haruka and Michiru. I can't wait to see them transform into Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, and see Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune do stuff. I love how they were watching the battle the whole time. I loved it. It was fantastic. Animation, writing, voice acting, all great. The attacks were fantastic. This is the anime I wanted. This is the anime fans wanted, and I really hope you all love this as much as I did. So thank you so much for checking out my review of this episode. I am very much looking forward to talking with you guys in the comments below about it. I'll do a trailer review, like I said, and that's it. I'm so happy. And I am looking forward to talking about this next week. It's not on a bi-weekly basis or every other Saturday basis. This is awesome. So share your thoughts down below, and we'll talk soon. Bye.